Guys, Eric from Eric and Jen's Excellent Adventure, and as you can see by the leaves on the ground and the coat on the dog, it's starting to get cold here in Ohio. So today I'm going to winterize the camper, so I thought I'd do a little video on how I winterize our 2017 Casita and show you how I do it. Now there's a couple different ways you can do it. There's my preferred way, which is just blowing compressed air through the lines, or you can actually run the pink RV antifreeze through the lines. I choose not to do that only because in the spring then you have to flush all that out and do all that, whereas with just the air you just put water in it and you're good to go. So the black and gray tanks have already been emptied after the last trip. The hot water tank is emptied. I pulled the anode, let that drain, and put the anode back in so I can pressurize that. The Casitas on the freshwater tank had a cap. So I actually removed the cap, put a ball valve on there, so it's real easy to drain. I just open that up and all the water drains out. A little tip though, there is a little bit of water sometimes that will sit in the tank. If you use the tongue jack and raise the nose of your camper, that'll put all the water to the drain and it'll get it all out. The air compressor that I use, it's a 15-gallon air compressor. I don't know if I'd go much smaller than that. You probably could, but this one keeps up pretty well. This is the adapter that I use. So the one end will go to the freshwater city connection on your camper, and then the other end actually goes to the quick disconnect on the hose for the air compressor. So let me get that hooked up and I'll show you, because I need two hands for that. Alright, so I have the air compressor now hooked up to the camper, and we are ready to blow out the lines. So let's go inside and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm ready to start blowing out the lines. I have my air compressor set at about 25 to 30 pounds. That should be sufficient to blow these out. Just one note, I did turn on the electric water pump for just a few seconds, just to make sure there's no water between the freshwater tank and the pump, electric pump. I'll show you how to take that apart in a little bit, just so that there's no water in the pump either. We don't want that to crack. So I'm going to start in here in my bathroom. I'm going to crack the water line just a little bit, because if you open it wide open, you're going to get a lot of water real fast, and then when the air hits, that water's going to start splashing everywhere, and you don't want to get all wet. So I'm just going to crack it a little bit, and we're going to let it run until we get no more water and just air. At this point, I'll open it up a little bit more. That one's blowing out. So now we're going to do the same thing with the hot water. Just a little bit till we get air. I'll open it a little bit more. I also want to make sure that I do the shower head here, because I don't want any water in there. This is a new hose, so there shouldn't even be any water in there. I just recently replaced it, so we're good there. All right, hot water is done there. Now we're gonna do the toilet. Hopefully this one doesn't spray all over, because it's a little bit harder to control the valve on the toilet. it's done. So just like that, the bathroom is blown out and winterized. So now let's move on to the kitchen. Okay, so kitchen, same thing, same process. Just crack the cold water, get a little bit of this out until we get air. Open it wide open. Okay, same thing with the hot. Just like that. Done. Okay, so I'm going to take the water pump apart now. This is a flow jet, just electric pump. You find these in most campers. So basically, this is where the fresh water is coming into the pump, and it comes out the pump into the system here. So basically what I want to do is just pull this little tab down, and the hose should just pull right out. Want to make sure there's no residual water in there, so we don't want to leave that sitting over the winter. So same thing on this side, just pull the hose out. Now in here, this piece here holds your filter screens. So it's just a pre-screen, so make sure when there's water coming from your freshwater tank, sometimes you might get a little bit of debris or whatever. So there's a screen in here that prevents that from going up into your pump and ruining your pump. So if I get my hand under here somehow, kind of hard to do this with just one hand, so give me 1 second here. Let me pop this off and then I'll show you. So I got that other one pulled down. Now I'm going to pull this whole piece off. You can see there's a little bit of water in there. Water does sit down here, and that's where your screen is at. So this clear piece comes off, and there's a screen in there. I'm going to pull that out, check it, make sure we're good. We should be, but we'll double check it anyway just to be sure. So hang on, let me pull that off. Okay, so I got that disconnected. I'm going to pull the screen out, and it looks pretty good. There's nothing in there. It wouldn't hurt if you just ran some water over it, or you even took the air hose to it and let it make sure it's good and cleaned out. The body looks pretty good. I'm going to leave all this apart for the winter and just kind of leave the pieces in here. That way it dries out real good over the winter here and doesn't crack my pump, because I definitely don't want to be changing that come springtime. So now on to the next step. Okay, so since we blew out the lines, we did pour some water down the drains into the gray tank. So what I like to do is just make sure that gray tank is good and empty. It's, you know, it's clean water, fresh water from our line, so not too worried about putting it on the ground. Obviously I would not do this with the black tank. So we're going to get all that water out so that we can put a little bit of antifreeze down into that one. Also, while that's draining, I did take the anode out of the hot water tank, so that can make sure that gets good and dry for the winter as well. I don't want water sitting in there, because the way that tank is made, there's a little lip at the bottom of that hole. It does hold a little bit of water, so I don't want to have that in there. Alright, so our gray is almost done emptying here, and then we'll be on to the next step. We're almost done. Okay, for the last part here now, I do use a little bit of this RV and marine antifreeze in the black and gray tanks. This is the only part I use this for. I use about a 1/4 gallon in the black, 1/4 gallon in the gray. Now, my kitchen sink does not have a normal S trap. It's got these HEPA traps that actually have a rubber bladder in there, so I don't have to worry about water sitting in there. But my bathroom sink still has the old traditional style trap, the S trap that holds water. So I'm going to pour a little bit of this antifreeze and make sure it gets into that trap, because we don't want that trap to freeze. And then this will also go into the gray tank. My shower drain is also that HEPA style valve down here, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to pour the rest of this into the toilet, into the black tank. And I'm going to leave a little bit just on the top here. Okay, so I poured a 1/4 gallon or so into the black tank through the toilet. I leave just a little bit on the top here, just so that the rubber ring doesn't dry out and stays nice and moist. I save these 1 gallon jugs. Just because we're winterizing the camper doesn't mean that we're done camping for the season. We actually already have something booked for the end of January, and we might be doing something in December. So I'll save these. I'll fill these up, take a couple gallons with us, and when we're winter camping, since we've blown out all the lines, we just pour a little bit of this into the toilet when we use that, and we're good to go. We'll do a winter camping video here. I'll show you how we winter camp, so we are able to wash our hands and brush our teeth and all that good stuff. So that'll be maybe the next one. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and you'll be able to see more content from us in the future on different trips we take and other maintenance stuff like this on the Casita. Thanks, guys.